Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins All World, fellow coin enthusiasts and history buffs. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of a coin that is both historic and valuable, the United States Roosevelt Silver 1 dime from 1991. This seemingly small coin might not catch the attention of most casual collectors, but there's more to it than meets the eye. It's not just a piece of currency, it's a rare and precious collectible that could be worth far more than its face value. If you've got one of these in your collection, stick around, because we're going to explore why this coin could be worth up to $80,000. Let's begin by discussing the significance of the Roosevelt dime itself. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just after the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This coin was struck to honor the legacy of FDR, who led the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. The dime has become one of the most iconic American coins, representing the strength, resilience, and leadership that Roosevelt himself exemplified. However, the Roosevelt dime has undergone several changes over the years, and the coin we're focusing on today, the 1991 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime, holds a particularly important place in the history of American currency. Let's dive deeper into why this specific coin stands out from the rest. First, it's important to note that not all Roosevelt dimes are made of silver. In fact, the standard Roosevelt dimes produced after 1965 were made from a copper-nickel alloy. However, prior to that, from 1946 to 1964, dimes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. As a result, the 1991 Roosevelt dime is special because it was part of a series of coins produced for collectors, which were minted with 90% silver content. These coins were struck in limited quantities, making them much rarer and more valuable than the dimes circulating at the time. In 1991, the U.S. Mint produced both copper-nickel and silver versions of the dime. The silver version was released in proof sets and uncirculated coin sets, while the majority of the dimes circulating in the general population were made from copper-nickel. This scarcity of the silver versions makes them incredibly valuable to collectors who are looking for the true Roosevelt dime in its most precious form. Now let's talk about the design of the coin. The obverse side features a stunning portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, created by the talented engraver John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's face is depicted in a dignified and realistic manner, and you can see the fine details that make the image stand out. His strong profile is framed by the word Liberty at the top, and below his neck, you'll find the famous motto, "In God We Trust." The year of minting, 1991, is also shown next to Roosevelt's image. On the reverse side, you'll find a torch surrounded by an olive branch and an oak branch, a design that was meant to represent the core values of the United States: liberty, peace, and strength. The torch symbolizes freedom, the olive branch represents peace, and the oak branch is a symbol of strength. The combination of these three elements serves as a reminder of the enduring spirit of the American people. Now, what really drives the value of the 1991 Roosevelt silver dime is its rarity. While millions of Roosevelt dimes were minted in 1991, the silver versions were not widely circulated. These coins were available only through special sets, and as a result, they are much rarer than the copper-nickel dimes that were produced in much larger quantities. Most of the silver dimes from 1991 have been carefully stored in collections, often preserved in pristine condition. For collectors, the condition of the coin is crucial. A 1991 Roosevelt silver dime in mint condition or proof condition, meaning it has been stored carefully and has not experienced wear or damage, can command a much higher price than one that has been used in circulation. Coins that are in near-perfect condition are prized by numismatists, and their value can rise dramatically over time. Additionally, collectors are always on the lookout for coins with minting errors. If you happen to have a 1991 Roosevelt silver dime with any unusual features, such as an off-center strike, a double die, or an error in the design, the value of your coin could be significantly higher. Minting errors are rare and highly sought after, and they can make a seemingly ordinary coin worth a small fortune. Now, you're probably wondering how much a 1991 Roosevelt silver dime can actually be worth. A standard 1991 Roosevelt silver dime in good condition will typically be valued based on its silver content, which is around $1.50 to $2 depending on the current price of silver. However, the true value comes into play if the coin is in exceptional condition, such as proof sets or uncirculated versions that have been well preserved. If you have one of these coins in perfect, uncirculated condition, it can fetch a price of $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single dime. Of course, this price is based on the coin's rarity, condition, and any special characteristics it might have, such as minting errors or unique features. To maximize the value of your coin, it's important to have it appraised by a professional coin grader who can evaluate its authenticity and condition. Professional coin graders use a standardized system to determine a coin's grade, and coins in higher grades will generally command higher prices. A coin with a grade of MS-70, which is the highest possible grade for a coin in mint condition, will be worth significantly more than a coin in lower grades. In conclusion, the 1991 Roosevelt silver dime is a true treasure for coin collectors. Its history, design, and rarity make it a highly sought-after item, and if you're fortunate enough to own one in excellent condition, it could be worth a small fortune. Today, we're going to be taking a close look at a coin that has captured the attention of many collectors, the United States Roosevelt Silver 1 dime from 1989. Now, you may be thinking, isn't that just another dime? But trust me, there's much more to this little coin than meets the eye. If you're a coin enthusiast or someone who's just starting to dip their toes into the world of numismatics, you'll want to pay attention, because this particular dime could be worth up to $85,000. Now, let's go back in time to the year 1989. The world was changing. The Berlin Wall had just come down, the Cold War was winding down, and technology was beginning to shape our modern world. It was also a significant year for American coinage, and the Roosevelt dime was no exception. This coin has been in circulation since 1946, when it was first introduced to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. FDR, who had passed away in 1945, was a central figure in American history, known for leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His image graced the Roosevelt dime as a tribute to his tireless leadership and dedication to the American people. The design of the Roosevelt dime has remained largely unchanged since its introduction, and that's part of what makes it such a beloved and instantly recognizable coin. On the obverse side of the dime, we see a detailed portrait of Roosevelt himself, created by the talented engraver John R. Sinek. The design captures FDR's dignified and resolute expression, a fitting tribute to a leader who faced immense challenges during his presidency. Surrounding his profile, we see the word Liberty at the top and the year of minting, 1989, beneath his neck. On the reverse side of the coin, we find a striking image of a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch symbolizes liberty, the olive branch represents peace, and the oak branch stands for strength. These symbols were carefully chosen to reflect the ideals upon which the United States was founded. It's a simple yet powerful design that continues to resonate with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. But what sets the 1989 Roosevelt silver dime apart from other dimes is the fact that this particular coin was made of 90% silver, a composition that was standard for U.S. coins prior to 1965. After 1965, the U.S. Mint transitioned to using a copper-nickel alloy for dimes, quarters, and half dollars. However, in 1989, the Mint released a special silver version of the Roosevelt dime as part of its proof and uncirculated sets, specifically for collectors. This is where the value begins to climb. The 1989 Roosevelt silver dime was produced in limited quantities, and not all of them were released into general circulation. These silver versions were only available through special sets, and that's what makes them highly collectible today. If you have a 1989 Roosevelt silver dime that's been well preserved, you might be holding onto a small treasure. The silver content itself gives the coin intrinsic value, and the fact that it was produced in limited numbers adds to its rarity and desirability among collectors. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the condition is crucial to determining its value. A coin in mint or proof condition, meaning it's free of scratches, dings, and signs of wear, can be worth far more than one that has been in circulation for decades. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition are highly sought after because they are much rarer than those that have been subjected to the wear and tear of daily use. If you happen to have a 1989 Roosevelt silver dime that has been carefully stored in a collector's set or a coin holder, you may have a valuable piece on your hands. The higher the quality, the more valuable the coin becomes. A coin that is graded as MS-69 or MS-70, meaning it is nearly flawless, could fetch a significantly higher price in the market. And speaking of grading, if you're new to collecting, it's important to have your coins professionally graded by a trusted third-party service. Grading is a process where experts examine the coin's condition and assign it a numerical value. Coins with higher grades typically command higher prices. Another factor that can increase the value of a coin is the possibility of a minting error. Minting errors happen when there is an issue during the production of the coin, such as an off-center strike, a double die, or a die crack. These errors are rare and can make a coin highly valuable to collectors, as they are considered unique. If you happen to find a 1989 Roosevelt silver dime with an error, it could be worth much more than a regular, uncirculated coin. So, what is the actual value of the 1989 Roosevelt silver dime? As of today, a typical 1989 Roosevelt silver dime in uncirculated condition will be valued based on its silver content. The current price of silver fluctuates, but the silver in this coin is worth around $2.50 to $3, depending on the market. However, the value can skyrocket if the coin is in pristine condition or if it has a minting error. A high-grade coin can be worth much more, sometimes reaching up to $85,000. That's right, $85,000 for a single 1989 Roosevelt silver dime. It's important to note that this is not the typical price for every 1989 Roosevelt silver dime. Only those in exceptional condition, or those with rare minting errors, will fetch this kind of value. So, if you have one of these coins in your collection, it might just be time to get it appraised and see if it holds a hidden treasure. To maximize your coin's value, always ensure that it's kept in a safe, controlled environment. Humidity, temperature changes, and even handling can affect the condition of your coin, so it's best to store it in a protective case or a coin holder that prevents it from getting damaged. Today, we're diving deep into the highly sought-after Roosevelt silver one dime from 1984. A coin that may look unassuming at first glance, but let me tell you, it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors, and it could very well be worth a small fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this particular dime is worth $95,000. Before we start discussing the value of the 1984 Roosevelt silver one dime, let's talk a bit about its history and significance. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 as a tribute to Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. FDR, as he is affectionately known, passed away in 1945, and the dime was created in his honor to commemorate his legacy of leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. It's not just a coin, it's a tribute to one of the most important presidents in American history. The design of the Roosevelt dime is iconic, thanks to its simplicity and elegance. The obverse side features a striking portrait of Roosevelt himself, created by the talented engraver John R. Sinek. Sinek's design is full of detail and captures FDR's dignified expression, a fitting tribute to the leader who guided the United States through some of its darkest times. Surrounding the portrait, we find the word Liberty along the top and the year of minting, 1984. In the lower right. On the reverse side of the coin, we see a beautiful, clean design that features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These symbols are rich with meaning. The torch stands for liberty, the olive branch represents peace, and the oak branch signifies strength. These elements were carefully chosen to reflect the ideals of freedom and unity upon which the United States was founded. But here's where things start to get interesting. In 1984, the U.S. Mint released a special version of the Roosevelt dime made from 90% silver. The standard dimes that were in circulation were made from a copper-nickel alloy, but the silver version was part of a special collector's set. It's important to note that the US Mint only produced a limited number of these silver dimes for collectors, making them far rarer than the regular dimes that you might find in your pocket change. This 1984 Roosevelt silver 1 dime was not released into circulation, which means it wasn't used in day-to-day transactions. It was primarily available through proof sets and uncirculated coin sets. These special sets were designed for collectors who wanted to acquire coins in pristine condition. As you can imagine, the rarity of these coins in mint or proof condition only increases their appeal and value. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1984 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. If you're lucky enough to have one of these coins in your collection, you might be wondering just how much it's worth. The first thing to understand is that the value of any coin depends on a few key factors: its silver content, its condition, and whether it has any special features like minting errors. Let's start with the silver content. As I mentioned earlier, the 1984 Roosevelt dime contains 90% silver, which gives it intrinsic value. As of today, the value of silver fluctuates, but on average, silver is worth around $25 to $30 per ounce. A single Roosevelt dime, weighing about 2.5 grams, contains approximately 0.072 ounces of silver. That means the silver content alone gives this coin a base value of around $2.50 to $3.00. However, this is just the starting point. The real value of the coin comes from its rarity and condition. Since these coins were primarily issued in proof and uncirculated sets, they're often found in near-perfect or pristine condition. If you have a 1984 Roosevelt silver dime in mint condition, it could be worth significantly more than its silver content. Coins that are graded as MS-69 or MS-70, meaning they are nearly flawless, are worth much more than coins in average condition. This is where the value really begins to climb. To give you an idea, a standard 1984 Roosevelt silver dime in average condition may only be worth a few dollars. However, if you have one in uncirculated or proof condition, it could easily fetch anywhere from $10 to $30, depending on the exact grade. But if you're lucky enough to have a flawless, high-grade example, you're looking at a value that could go much higher. But the story doesn't end there. Like many collectible coins, the value of the 1984 Roosevelt silver 1 dime can increase dramatically if there's a minting error. Minting errors happen when there is a mistake during the coin's production process. This could include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These errors are rare and make the coin unique, which is why they're highly prized by collectors. If you have a 1984 Roosevelt silver dime with a minting error, it could be worth many times more than its standard counterpart. Errors are usually discovered by coin collectors, so if you're going through your collection, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for any unusual characteristics. Another key factor that can influence the value is the overall demand for the coin. Certain years and mint marks are more desirable than others. As time passes, collectors may seek out coins from specific years for their historical significance or unique characteristics. Because the 1984 Roosevelt silver dime is part of a specific set that was only available to collectors, its rarity and historical value make it more desirable among collectors of modern U.S. coins. So, what is the value of the 1984 Roosevelt silver 1 dime today? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the silver content alone gives the coin a base value of about $2.50 to $3. However, in mint condition, the value can be much higher. A high-quality 1984 Roosevelt silver dime could be worth anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on its grade and condition. And if you have a rare minting error or a particularly high-grade coin, the price could be even higher. Now, here's where things get really interesting. If you happen to own an especially rare 1984 Roosevelt silver 1 dime that is in perfect condition, or if you find one with an error, you could be looking at a coin that's worth $95,000. That's right, $95,000 for a single dime. This may sound unbelievable, but it's true. Rare and high-quality coins like these can fetch astonishing prices in the collector's market. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins from the 20th century, the 1999 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime. You might think that dimes are just small, everyday coins that don't hold much value, but wait until you learn about the incredible worth of the 1999 Roosevelt Silver dime. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to go through your collection to see if you have one, because this coin could be worth $75,000. Let's start by setting the stage. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Roosevelt dime, it's a coin that has been in circulation since 1946. It was created to honor the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt played a pivotal role in leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II, and his contribution to American society was so significant that the U.S. Mint decided to immortalize him on the dime. Ever since its introduction, the Roosevelt dime has been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Now, let's focus on the 1999 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime specifically. Most of the dimes that you encounter in everyday life are made of a copper-nickel-clad alloy. However, the 1999 Roosevelt dimes that are part of special mint sets or were issued as proof coins contain 90% silver. This makes them far rarer and much more valuable than their copper-nickel counterparts. Before we dive into the specifics of how much this dime is worth today, let's take a moment to appreciate the design. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by artist John R. Sinek. The simple yet powerful image of Roosevelt has become synonymous with the coin. Surrounding the portrait, we see the word Liberty and the year of minting, 1999, placed strategically at the bottom right. Roosevelt's likeness is striking, capturing the determination and resolve that defined his presidency. On the reverse side of the coin, we see a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. These symbols were carefully selected to represent liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. Together, these elements form a perfect complement to the coin's obverse design, reminding us of the values that Roosevelt stood for. So, now we know a bit about the history and design of the coin, but let's talk about what really matters: the value of the 1999 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime. As I mentioned earlier, this coin is made from 90% silver, which immediately gives it a higher value than its copper-nickel counterparts. Silver, as many of you know, is a precious metal, and its price fluctuates over time. At the time of writing, the price of silver is hovering around $25 to $30 per ounce. Given that a Roosevelt dime weighs approximately 2.5 grams, or 0.072 ounces, the intrinsic value of the silver content alone comes to about $2 to $3. But wait, this is just the base value. What makes the 1999 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime so valuable is its rarity and the condition in which it exists. These coins were not released into regular circulation. Instead, they were part of special proof sets, which were sold to collectors by the U.S. Mint. Proof coins are struck using a special process that results in a mirror-like finish, and they are often produced in limited quantities. As a result, the 1999 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime is much rarer than the standard circulating dimes, and that rarity drives its value up significantly. But there's more to the story. The condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its worth. Coins are graded based on their physical condition, and the highest grade a coin can receive is MS 70, which stands for Mint State 70, a perfect coin with no visible imperfections. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your 1999 Roosevelt Silver dime is graded as MS 69 or MS 70, it could be worth far more than just its silver content. A well-preserved coin in uncirculated or proof condition will be much more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated or shows signs of wear. The demand for high-quality coins among collectors is strong, and this increases the coin's market value. Another factor that contributes to the coin's value is the popularity of the Roosevelt dime among collectors. Many people collect coins based on the year of minting, and the 1999 coin has attracted attention for being part of the late 20th century, a time of significant historical change. It's a reflection of the nation's progress and its continuing legacy, and for that reason, it's highly sought after. Now, let's talk about the real kicker, the rare, high-grade 1999 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. If you have one of these coins in mint condition, it could easily fetch anywhere from $20 to $100 depending on the grade. But, here's the thing, when it comes to truly rare coins, there are a few that stand out from the rest. If you have a perfect 1999 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, graded as MS-70 by the major grading services, you're looking at a potential value that could skyrocket. Coins with perfect grades are always in demand, and some rare specimens can sell for $75,000, yes, you read that right, $75,000. A single dime worth that much? It may sound hard to believe, but it's true. Coins with perfect grades, especially those that come from a limited minting like the 1999 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, are highly prized by serious collectors, and they can fetch astronomical prices in the right market conditions. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1999 Roosevelt silver 1 dime? First, check the mint mark on the coin. The mint mark is located just below the date on the obverse, and it tells you where the coin was made. For the 1999 Roosevelt dimes, the most common mint marks are D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, as well as P for coins minted in Philadelphia. The dimes minted in San Francisco are typically the proof versions, which are more likely to be in better condition and therefore more valuable. Next, it's time to inspect the coin. If your coin is in mint or proof condition with minimal to no wear, it has the potential to be worth significantly more than just the silver content. Look for a coin grading service to evaluate its condition. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can provide a grade that will help determine its market value. Today in this video from 1987. This coin isn't just any ordinary dime, it's a beautiful piece of history that holds a unique place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike. The Roosevelt Dime series, with its stunning design and rich legacy, is already a favorite among many coin collectors. But the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime? That one, my friends, is a true gem, especially when you consider its potential value. Now, you may be wondering, what makes the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime stand out from other coins in the series? Well, let me take you through the fascinating details and tell you why this particular dime holds so much appeal for collectors and how it could be worth a surprising amount of money. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the value of this dime can soar to an incredible $83,000. Let's start by talking about the Roosevelt dime as a whole. The Roosevelt Dime series was first introduced in 1946, shortly after the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was one of the most important leaders in U.S. history, particularly known for his role in leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II. As a tribute to his legacy, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with this dime, which quickly became a staple of American currency. The design of the Roosevelt dime is straightforward but elegant, created by artist John R. Sinek. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, with the word Liberty above and the year of minting below. The reverse side depicts a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. These elements together make the Roosevelt dime a symbolic representation of the values Roosevelt championed during his time in office. But as time went on, something special happened with the Roosevelt dime, especially for collectors. In the 1980s, a significant portion of the Roosevelt dimes were made from 90% silver. This was part of a series of special minting runs for proof coins and other limited edition sets. Silver, as many of you know, is a precious metal, and coins containing silver are often more valuable than their copper-nickel counterparts. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime is one of those silver versions, and that's where its true value starts to shine. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, just like other silver coins of its era, contains 90% silver and 10% copper. This gives it an intrinsic value based on the metal it contains, which is higher than the standard clad dimes produced during the same period. Even if we only take into account the silver content alone, the coin's value is already above its face value of just 10 cents. As of current silver prices, which fluctuate regularly, the silver in this dime can be worth around $2 to $3, depending on the price of silver at any given moment. But, of course, the silver content isn't the only factor that determines the coin's value. Just like with any collectible, rarity and condition are crucial elements that can influence how much a coin is worth. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, produced in smaller quantities compared to the standard dimes, is already rarer than most other coins of that era. It's not just a run-of-the-mill dime that you'll find in everyday circulation, and that scarcity makes it highly sought after by collectors. When we talk about rarity, we're also discussing the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no visible flaws. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, a coin that is in near-perfect condition, such as one that has been graded as MS-69 or MS-70, will be much more valuable than a coin that has been worn down due to age or use. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime in pristine condition, free from any noticeable wear, could fetch a much higher price at auction or among collectors. If you happen to come across a 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime with an error, whether it's a minting mistake like a double die, off-center strike, or a misalignment, then you might be looking at something truly valuable. Coins with errors are highly coveted in the numismatic community, and their prices can skyrocket due to the rarity of such mistakes. For example, a simple misalignment of the strike or a double die error could turn a dime worth just a few dollars into a much more expensive item for collectors. Now, let's take a look at the demand for this coin. As time passes, the number of high-quality 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dimes that are still in circulation decreases. This makes coins in mint condition, especially those that are part of a limited release or have rare errors, all the more desirable. With the growing interest in U.S. coin collecting, the value of these silver dimes has been steadily rising. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, being part of a beloved series and containing silver, continues to be one of the most desirable coins among collectors. This brings us to a very exciting conclusion. Just how much can the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime actually be worth? The value of this coin depends on several factors, including its grade, condition, rarity, and any special minting errors it may have. However, for coins that are in pristine condition or have unique features, it's not out of the realm of possibility to see prices reach impressive amounts. Some 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dimes in excellent condition or with minting errors have been known to sell for several $100s, even up to $1,000 in some cases. But what if I told you that you could potentially own a 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime worth $83,000? Yes, you heard that right. This incredible value comes into play when the coin is in perfect condition, or if it has a rare error that catches the eye of high-end collectors. At auctions, coins in pristine mint state with rare errors or limited edition prints have been known to fetch large sums, sometimes well beyond what anyone would expect. So, if you're fortunate enough to own one of these coins in excellent condition or with an intriguing error, you could be holding on to a true treasure. In conclusion, the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime is far more than just a simple coin. It's a piece of American history, a symbol of Franklin D. Roosevelt's legacy, and an incredibly valuable collectible. The silver content, rarity, and condition all contribute to its worth, and when you factor in demand from passionate collectors, it becomes clear why this coin holds such a special place in the world of numismatics. If you happen to own a 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, be sure to take a closer look. It could very well be worth much more than you think. And who knows? You might just find yourself with a coin worth $83,000.